Hello and welcome back to Operations Void. I'm your host, Forgotten Void, and this week we will be using the Colombo to showcase a new, unique interaction with the classified documents. Now, the Colombo, I believe I've gone over before, and probably many of you are familiar. She has 16 380 millimeter guns. The best feature about them is the sap, which does not overpen, and that's part of why we're using her to showcase because the unique feature is for the destroyer AP and sap. Not only does it do plus 30% damage for AP and SAP, but against destroyers, it also turns off the damage cap for battleships. So in World of Warships, battleship caliber guns is anything 11-inch or more. So Scharnhorst and Graf Spee have 11-inch guns at 283 millimeters. Anything larger than that is generally capped to having um, into only having overpen damage against destroyers. However, with the destroyer AP and SAP classified document, it gets that basically gets turned off, and so you can do max damage against destroyers, full pen damage instead. And you'll see that in this replay that I will be showcasing shortly. Um, so I'm not actually the one. I have been using this. I'm not actually the one who, in this replay, it's actually a clanmate of mine. But I have done this myself, and it is funny. I just haven't played that much with Colombo, whereas my clanmate has been playing a lot. So I'm using one of his replays. Anyways, for captain skills, I'm gonna go over here just to show you what captain skills he's using in the replay. So it's gun feeder plus grease the gears plus long range secondary into close quarters. So anybody who's watched my Bourgogne video, you know this combo just to get extra reload. For some reason, he's running concealment expert, adrenaline rush, brisk. I see he's running concealment expert because he's running brisk, and then it's emergency repair specialist and preventive maintenance. So these are the skills he's running just for this video. As for equipment, it's the same thing I have. Legendary mod, concealment specialist. He's running damage control system. I'm running prop mod. Aiming controls and everything else is normal. Damage control system and prop mod. This is really up to dealer's choice. I prefer being able to get that speed for maneuverability. This is just if you want to burn for a little bit less time. I always use the flag. That's 20%, whereas this is only 15%. So you can go with the flags. There you go. There's 20% each. And that means you basically have both. Although they do stack, I just prefer to have prop mod. As for commander skills that I actually recommend, I do actually like this, but I would be going in like this. So gun feeder, swapping between armor piercing and sap. This is more just because you need a 1 point skill. It doesn't really matter what you grab, but gun feeder between AP and sap usually helps. It actually is a big thing that you do with Italian ships if you want citadels or not. Then I do priority target. You can do priority target or grease the gears, whichever. If you feel comfortable and just expect everything to shoot at you, you can do grease the gears. But I do priority target so that I know if something's looking at me or not. It helps me decide how I should angle, if I should just use my front guns or if I can use my rear guns. Then we have Adrenaline Rush for extra reload. We have emergency repair expert for an extra heal and a longer heal. So you get 10% extra on your heal plus an extra heal, and then you also get 10% longer on your damage control party. Then we do fire prevention expert, so reduce the risk of fires and reduce the maximum fires. And then, so that's for a 14-point commander. When you get up to 21 points, then that's when you would do long range battery shells and close quarter combats. I would do close quarter combat first and then long range secondary shells. And this is to get that extra reload since you are going to be up close in ops. If you're not playing ops, that is when I would do, or you want to use a hand captain for PvP and PvE, then I would do a concealment and brisk and either preventive maintenance or something else. But yeah, your choice of 1 point skill. So this is what I would do for non-ops, but for ops, we can go all in into DPM. And with that, we will. Oh, well, I guess one more thing. Equipment. We are using the legendary mod. If you're not doing the legendary mod, you do the main battery reload. It's just simple as that. So with that, we will hop into the battle. So here we have. So here we have Vader. He's with Corn Dude, another person in my Discord. They're doing a 2-player game in Cherry Blossom. So he went ahead and go full speed ahead. Don't especially in his position, he spawned far south, so there's not going to be any torpedoes headed his way. We have Kerr First Republic, Salem, and Buffalo and Marceau on the team. So, with the documents, there's a couple things that are an issue. One, the documents don't actually activate until after the you have chosen your time. Once this runs out to 0, then the buff actually activates. Before then, it doesn't actually activate. So it's about 30 seconds before it activates. I believe that's the case. Yeah, so that's before the buff. That's how it should work. That should be a normal sap salvo the air against Kirikaze. No funny stuff, 5,000 damage. Okay, buff has now actually activated. Let's see what sap does against destroyers now. Hello, Harugumo. There is 12k against one Harugumo with 3 shells, and 5k against the next one. Yeah, the spread was that bad. And as you can see, he has close quarter combat, so the reload time is now down to 31 seconds. It's a pretty bad reload time on Colombo. So 1 turret against that Harugumo. The 1 shell did 26,000, probably against something saturated. Where's the next Harugumo? Hello, Harugumo. So use 3, and there goes a Harugumo, 27,000 damage with 9 shells. And this is what happens in real life when a battleship fires at a destroyer. It just goes away. And so using these AP classified documents, against destroyers, you can now in ops just absolutely delete destroyers in a battleship. And this is not just Colombo. Colombo is nice because sap doesn't overpen against destroyers, but a normal battleship, if you find yourself with a bow on destroyer, you can get full pens and you can get full pen damage. So like, say Incomparable, for example, you can do 20k with 2 shells if you're against a bow-in destroyer. Instead of 2k per shell, you're doing a lot of damage against destroyers. And he's even looking away. 15k. It's okay. Just hoping you that citadel. And so yeah, Sap would have been better in that, but that's hindsight. If he had gotten a citadel, then AP would be better. Now here comes another Harugumo. Shells are out. 26k against the Harugumo, and Harugumo's pretty much dead. There's the Yamagiri. And another nice thing about Colombo is it has the 360-degree turrets, so you can just turn left and right going in, and it doesn't matter because your turrets are always going to be on target. So the engine is busted on the Yamagiri, so you don't have to lead very far. 36,000 with 5 shells against the AP Yamagiri. So, those of you who are having difficulty against destroyers and whatnot in Cherry Blossom or any other mode, and you want destroyers to disappear, this is how you do it. What's the button? Is there a button? Another thing, well, actually there is a button. You can normally press H to see what what you have. Oh, we're already missing a Buffalo and a Marcel. You can normally see H, but to see what the documents actually give. But against destroyers, they reduce torpedo damage. They reduce chance of flooding, and they reduce chance of being set on fire. And I believe at level 11, which is what he has, it reduces chance of getting set on fire by 95%. So like there, he took an IGN Torp. Normally, that would have been like 25k, but he was only 15k. Because he has the destroyer document. 2, he didn't get a flood because because the document actually reduces chance of getting a flood. Just deleting these destroyers. So the document against destroyers is amazing in Cherry Blossom, so that's kind of what that's why we're doing a Cherry Blossom game. So this is another thing for getting experience, is just, you know, using depth charges against mines. Every depth charge plane you don't send is a miss. And there, Vader was able to get the cleared ribbon, and so that's just a little bit more XP. The Kerr first is saying that it's his bad since he's been drinking. Remember, guys, don't drink and drive, or in this case, sail boats. You'll crash into other people and get a really annoying sound when you crash into other people. You and the other player. And so in this case, he's sending out his planes to see where the AA is. However, I believe they have their AA off until they're spotted. So that tactic doesn't really work. That came about on randoms when when the depth charge planes were initially put in, they actually spotted, and so they had to take that out. Oh, Kirikaze. Oh, did you just lose a gun? Here goes the Kirikaze. Next is Harugumo. Just has to wait to reload. It's down to 70k. It's going to be deleted now. Yeah, only needed 4 shells. So anybody who hates destroyers, and this is probably cathartic, just watching destroyer after destroyer just straight up be deleted. And at that angle where Colombo is at, you could actually get it with pretty much any battleship. I believe the only one that might be difficult to do is Valparaiso or Atlantico due to the nature of their armor-piercing shells. But for most other battleships, that would be a full pen at that angle and just gone with this document. And this also means that in other battleships, you don't have to swap between HE and AP. You just have armor piercing the entire time. So only Colombo is one that you still swap for between. But other battleships, you just shoot armor piercing all the time. And yes, I have tried this on other battleships as well. It works. It is very nice when you see the big numbers with a full pen of battleship armor piercing against destroyers. But I mean, another great thing about Colombo is when you face the Clausewitz. Because Clausewitz is very hard to citadel unless you're at long range. So at this range, you could probably actually get a citadel. But when you're close up against Clausewitz, it's difficult and it's more luck-based if you're getting a citadel. So the more shells your ship has, the more likely you're getting a citadel. But with Colombo, you're just getting full pens. You're not getting all those over pens that you would get with another battleship. So there he's using armor piercing to try and get the citadel, and there he gets 1 citadel, which basically evens out. If that was a full sap hit, he might have actually done a little bit more damage. But still, 20k is not a bad hit. And there we go, aiming at the Otago. Again, armor piercing. Try and get those citadels. 1 citadel, 5 overpens for 9,000. Again, sap probably would have been better there, But every dev strike you don't shoot for, you miss. So now that he's back up to mostly full HP, and thanks again to that torpedo he took. That hurt. And there you see, that's what you're aiming for. 4 citadels, dev strike, goodbye Clausewitz. Again, if he shot sap that round, he would have done less damage. So this is why you throw the armor piercing. It is kind of a gamble, but you still it's a gamble. So sometimes you win the gamble, sometimes you lose the gamble. And that one, he lost the gamble. Speaking of gambling, I saw a quote the other day. It's like, it goes about, keep living because, you don't know if the next day will be a good day or not. And if you think that, if you don't know if the next day will be a good day or not, that's kind of a gamble. And when you realize that it's a gamble, you start enjoying life because gambling is fun. Sounds like a quote from Wargaming. But that was actually a quote from an old Japanese man, which is weird. It's kind of weird, but it's also not weird because here in Japan, there's also quite a bit of gambling. There's usually pachinko parlors, and that is where older people will be. It's a legal gray zone for gambling, but it still is gambling. But at least with pachinko, you can walk away with money. Whereas if you gamble in wargaming, you get nothing. Sure, you're guaranteed to get something, but nothing of actual monetary value. You can't walk away from it. It's just like all the gacha games, you know. Gambling in games is actually kind of worse than gambling in real life because in both you're spending money trying to get something, and then, but at least when you gamble in real life, you can get some of your money back, usually. Whereas and I'm not trying to say you should be gambling. I'm actually saying you shouldn't gamble in either. You should not gamble in real life. You should not gamble in games. Because honestly, when you're gambling in both, you just, you're going to lose. That's just how it is. The only person that wins when gambling is the person who makes a gambling machine, the person who's hosting the event, or whatever. And here he is. He's using his smoke to hide so that he doesn't get an armor-piercing broadside from Azuma. But he's going to give an armor-piercing broadside instead. Ow, 10k from that Azuma from armor-piercing broadside. He dodged those torps. Is he dodging the next set of torps? Does he get it? Yes, he gets it. And there he is. He's swapping to Sap really quick. It's a very quick swap with Sansonetti, and the swapping skill is only a 6-second swap. And there goes the Yamagiri. Straight up deleted. Unfortunately, they have lost 4 ships, so they've already lost 1 star. There he is. He's sending his rear turrets, saying no more Azuma. And now to face the remaining Azumas. Sap just, like, at this angle he wouldn't be able to get the Citadel, so as Sap at the nose really takes down the Azuma's HP, so he needs less Citadels. And there, just the front turrets are able to defeat the fast Azuma. So this here you are just able to see that Colombo is really good when you're swapping it. It generally has, between Sap and Armor Piercing, you have the right tool against everything. With the document against destroyers. Who needs high explosive? when you have sap. Oh, he got 4 torpedo protection hits and 5 ricochets. That hurts. That hurts a lot. If he had saved his rear turrets and done first front turrets and then rear turrets, he might have been able to delete the Zoom, but he got greedy. I can understand. I've done the same thing. And there goes Hotter deleted. And that's victory with the say somebody was shooting at the aerodromes. It was a Vader. There we are. 2 million credits, bunch of experience, bunch of free XP. He has major contribution in addition to assistant and uh, natural selection. 12 ships destroyed. This is 12 destroyed, and there wasn't a single battleship flagship spawning a bunch of torpedo boats. So this is just base. The base numbers for Cherry Blossom for 12 kills. 16 citadels, which is pretty nice. 191 shell hits. So he activated Sansanetti's, one of Sansanetti's talents for getting increased duration of his consumables. The other Sansanetti talent he activated was getting a kill, which extends the main battery range. This puts him top of the board at nearly 4,000 base experience in a tech tree ship. So you see the big numbers are all going to be cruisers because they're big numbers. We have the Yamagiri there, 7 main battery shell hits for 45,000 damage. Harugumo, the 10 for 31,000. This Harugumo 9 for 30,000. This Harugumo 8 for 29,000. So Yamagiri 9 shells for 25,000. Just all the sap shell is just deleting these destroyers from nearly full health or taking them from full health to nearly dead. It's just this is absolutely crazy, and you should try it for yourself. The flagship mode ends this patch, so next patch we have a different mode. You can check out in the recommendation after this video. I should have the limited time event selected. Check out those new ops that are coming. I have pinned the details about the second half of that event because its first half and second half is pretty much the same with just slight differences. But you should check out what's coming up next. But until then, you should definitely try armor piercing on the classified document egg for armor piercing against destroyers in flagship modes. See if that helps. For those of you who are having trouble winning, see if that helps you win some more. For those of you who are already enjoying the mode, I'm sure this will bring even more enjoyment. That said, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, thumbs down. Leave a comment if you want. Otherwise, I hope to see you again next week. Have a good one.